my friend and mentor, Hugo Snyman, passed away after a short struggle with his health. I thought it best to remember him and his impact on humanity by speaking a little bit about him. Hugo was my mentor like no other, and as you hear in his life story, I hope it inspires you as it has myself and many other friends and fellow mentees over the last 15 years. Good morning, all, and welcome to yet another episode of the Core Podcast, where we try to get to the core of entrepreneurship, venturing, and business development, and the toll that the journey takes on you as a person, on your relationships with people around you, and more importantly, with your family. It's quite a somber and sad week, and in honor of a man that has contributed immeasurably to who I am, I thought to speak a little bit about him. On my deep dive with friends, his family, and mentors, I also received some beautiful messages, and I'll share one that I feel is quintessentially Hugo. So I met Hugo in 2010 after being told for years by Van der Spey, also another common mentor that we have as a group of young entrepreneurs. And he told me about his friend in Pretoria. We all met at Carlswood Dross. This was now in 2010, so I think that restaurant has now changed a few times, but back then it was still called the Dross. They came from Pretoria to meet me in Midrand. I, at that time, was living at Midrand. Hugo walked in his signature suit with a crisp white shirt and cufflinks. He had a Patek Philippe timepiece and had just gotten out of a Mercedes-Benz S500. I knew then this is someone to listen to. His serious exterior and demeanor when you look at him from afar was an almost contrast to the personable and warm person that he was. With his slow cadence in speech, made you want to listen to each and every word that he had to say. As my father used to say, let us start in the beginning. Hugo was an a fan of Earl Nightingale. It is through him and Van der Spey that I got into the habit of reading books like The Richest Man in Babylon multiple times a year. Each time, the lessons had a different meaning and context due to what was going on in my life at that time. During the famine years, his counseling and that of many other mentors was indispensable, reminding me that that phase of my life will end and I should not give up or let go. In later years, he was also one of the first people I called to tell news or ask input on challenges that I faced in the business world. And when I got ousted out of my alcohol business, Hugo was the first person, actually, the only person I spoke to about it. It was a tough time, it was an embarrassing time, and I reached out to him. Not to sound random, but there was a reason behind that. He himself, around, I think, 2007, had been ousted out of the Efficient Group. So he knew exactly the feelings that I was going through. His counsel was sound, empathetic, and his advice to me I still carry till today. It was a dark time that he assisted me through. I am reminded of a quote Hugo likes from Earl Nightingale. Whatever it, and the quote goes as such, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become reality. And this is how he lived out his life. A friend of mine, Yaku Devet, an entrepreneur I met through our shared mentor, Van der Spey, who would go on to co-found Personera with Sharon. They subsequently exited Personera to Xerox. Sharon went on to go found another business that's doing very well in the health sector right now. And this is what he sent me. I first met Hugo over 15 years ago at the City Lodge in Tiger Valley, where Van der Spey introduced us to each other. We shared our ambitious plans. Mine was to grow my tech startup to 1 billion in sales, and his was to manage over 1 billion rands in assets. Years later, I told him my company hadn't succeeded and that I was starting over, and he, on the other hand, had achieved his goal. His success and unwavering belief in his vision taught me invaluable lessons about setting bold goals and making them happen. Hiku was a true inspiration and mentor, always checking in on my life and offering a shoulder to lean on. I will miss our conversations, his guidance, and his genuine interest in my journey. His impact will stay with me always. Close quote. If he was such a special person, we are all grateful to have had a chance to know him. He was a bridge for so many CEOs in the financial services industry. He was a friend to so many entrepreneurs and a great supporter of individual effort and grit in anyone who tried to start something, whether being a project or a business. I would like to offer my eternal condolences to Connie and the rest of the family. As indicated before, a great tree has fallen, a tree under which so many of us have received shelter from the harshness of the world and shade from the tough days we have gone through. So many of us stand tall today, all because Ihu made it possible. Through his signature advice, as well as an exemplary life lived that each and every one of us can only look up to. Thank you, Ihu. Thank you for having been in our lives. Now, next on the roster, this week, I've been reminded of many steps taken along this entrepreneurial journey and all the different times I would be on a call with Echo to ask for advice. One story that stood out in memory is what I wish to share today. A few years ago, I also shared the same thing on a blog post, and I thought I'd like to delve a little bit deeper into my thinking around it. So here's the story. I've been working with founders, researchers, and entrepreneurs for well over 16 years. In that time, one of the things that always strikes me is the thinking by entrepreneurs that someone else will steal your idea. When I went to university in Stellenbosch, I essentially exchanged one small town, being my hometown of Cradock, for a bigger small town, that of Stellenbosch. Now, those of you who know the topology of South Africa will understand how far and different these two places are. The town I grew up in is in the semi-desert area of the eastern part of South Africa, an area called the Karoo. Now, the Karoo makes you determined. We are a people of the land where agriculture is the economic staple of the area. The heat helps you focus and persevere over things. You become truly close to whatever deity it is that you believe in because of the harshness of the area. It's a place filled with beautiful people, beautiful views and landscapes, and it is home. And whenever I need to recharge, I always think of let me go home to the Karoo. Few things keep you occupied outside. As a kid, there were a few things that kept me occupied outside of academics. These were now academics itself, sport. I was an avid sport person. I tried every type of sport. And there was also drinking. So there were three things to do in the Karoo. Either you focus on academics, you do sports, or you drink. And in such a setting, things can go in many directions. So when I left for university, I tried by all means not to travel back home as frequently as possible. Oftentimes, finding work and other events to keep me on campus during the shorter breaks. Being away from home and what I had come to know and understand, I found refuge in listening to the radio. And the campus radio station quickly became a firm favorite of mine. When I would eventually go back to the Karoo, I would miss it and not have any means by which to access it. Back then, online radio was still at its infancy, and the campus radio station was not an early adopter to actually stream online. Yes, there were platforms available, and the one that comes to mind is Ant Farm. I hope people still remember that. I'm not sure if it's still up and running, but it used to be the preeminent platform to find all types of radio stations and their links to their online streaming. This platform became my refuge as it allowed me to listen not only to the campus radio station where I was home, but when I was on campus as an alternative, I would be listening to the Johannesburg radio station called YFM. For all the people over 40, you'll remember how cool YFM used to be back in the day. And I was also captivated by these incredible young DJs who were on YFM, who were making noise, who are now quite legendary DJs in their own rights. So the thought came to my head that this platform could do similar for campus radio stations as it was doing for commercial radio stations. I did some research and found the contact details of the founder and approached him with an idea. I pleaded my case and the value I see in allowing campus radio stations onto the platform. He declined. Actually, he rebuffed me that such an undertaking would not be viable. I then let the prospect go and endured my pending loneliness in not having access to campus radio station when I would travel back to the Karoo. Without a clear plan, capital, and networks, it was not viable for me to look at building an alternative or to prove that the founder is wrong. I needed a solution for my small challenge, and he said he saw no value in it. The very next year, as I casually scrolled onto the Ant Farm platform to listen to YFM, there listed for listening was the campus radio station, as well as a few other universities' campus radio stations. I was devastated. My idea had been taken and implemented, though not as I envisioned it, but implemented nonetheless. I remember being so angry and telling the guys at my res, look at this guy having stolen my idea, showing them the email trail and all of those things of communication. I was livid that I cannot believe that he did this to me. But hey, such is life. This was a bitter pill to swallow. And for a 20-year-old, a hard lesson that has remained to this day. What I came to understand was the fleeting value of ideas. Implementation is what matters. I also do not have any original ideas of my own, but find innovations applicable to certain market segments based on experience and things that I see. And in that, I do not blame that founder for innovating on some of the ideas we shared. He has the right to do that. It is his platform, and maybe I just gave him a chance to think about it. Sometimes you need time for ideas to percolate, to mature, and to ring true to you before implementing. This is a challenge many founders have, even today, a challenge that curtails their potential as they hide and keep their ideas to themselves. I always find it very funny when founders look for VC backing from us, but would require that we sign a non disclosure agreement. Theoretically, it makes sense to them to be, but honestly, why would I take the time to steal your idea? Keep in mind, I'm already in my own business. This is what I want to do with my life. I have no time, energy, or desire to want to do what you want to do with your life. And this is the thing that a lot of founders fail to understand. Ultimately, ideas are absolutely worth nothing. Without a strong project development plan and an implementation program for that plan, you are dead in the water. Therefore, implementation is key. Well, in any event, let's say someone did steal a concept or an idea that you had. There's no way on God's green earth that you would be able to implement it the same way that, or they would be able to implement it the same way that you would have. Part of what gives each entrepreneur an edge, a secret source of sorts, is your unique perspective, abilities, and background. All those cannot be emulated or reproduced by others because of their own experiences and backgrounds. And yours is an influence on you to conduct a business at the level of grit you will have your vision. So it's important that for all those who can not be emulated or reproduced, they are yours and influence how you conduct business. Venturing or business development is an expression of self, articulating to the world a version of your soul embodied as an idea to solve a challenge that you have identified. Ultimately, if your idea is compelling as a solution, the market will not disappear in the wake of comparative solutions offered by would-be thieves of your idea. So, in totality, one must just understand that no one can truly steal an opportunity that you have. It is all about you and how you go about implementing that. They can take certain aspects, they can take basically the overall idea, but they can never take how it will be implemented and how you would have made it unique and special in the market. So, as a founder, if you are faced with the opportunity or the bad case of someone taking that which you feel was your idea, understand that if the market is there and you have done effective customer discovery, the opportunity is not closed to you. you can still go out and implement the way that you saw the market, using your perspective, your lens of understanding of value that that market requires. And you'd be so surprised as to how successful that can be. And it's very important that we realize that we can, in the face of challenges, overcome businesses that are more entrenched, businesses that have greater resources, because we offer something that they cannot do. You can be entrepreneurial, you can be innovative, you can be nimble, you can be so many things. As long as you have the grit to implement your plan, you will be able to get something on the other side. Mind you, and this is free and fair advice, how you start your business and the solution that you have might not be the final product that you actually take to market. It might not even be the product that actually makes you a success in the market. So be open to pivoting, be open to changing economic landscapes, changing customer preferences. But what you should focus on is your vision and your grit in order to implement that which you have a passion for. And through doing that, you are able to create something that would be of significant value, that would be wanted, and that will help you going forward. I know this episode has been shorter, but it has been a brutal week of emotional upheaval and a roller coaster ride. I hope that this week has been good to you. I thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope you got the lessons from this. Lessons learned from a life lived by Hugo and his ability to focus and conjure in his psychological framework the kind of future he wants to see, and going for those goals to achieve them. And also realizing that even in the wake of opportunities that you've identified for yourself not materializing as you would have liked, that you don't give up, you don't relent, and you don't let go. But take the opportunity to reassess and implement according to your vision to create something that is unique, something that is strong, and something that you can be proud of. We're not all going to be Elon Musk's, Mark Zuckerberg's, or any of the top 100 entrepreneurs of the world, because there's only 100 spots. But we can build incredible businesses that we can be proud of, that can be sustainable and add value to society, that will generate economic returns that will make us happy and allow us to live the kind of lives that we want. And when one focuses on self in order to grow and develop this, you are in a far better situation than trying to emulate others and trying to be a version of someone else. The best that you can be is the greatest version of yourself. And in so doing, be able to execute and build a business. Thank you so much for listening. To have a wonderful week.